the XRP story of the day. XRP at $20, monster bull run envisioned for XRP following upshot of SEC legal brawl. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. We have an amazing video for you today. XRP Army. I know you guys are ready for this. We are going to be kicking it off, obviously, with the XRP charts. Here we're looking at the monthly calendar, monthly charts. The monthly candle just kicked off today. We will be checking out XRP, Ethereum, Bitcoin, and Shiba Inu in the charts. We will also be covering this right here. Cardano reaches new scaling milestone that might allow new sync faster. We will also be talking about this right here. El Salvador's president says many countries will follow if their Bitcoin experiment succeeds. Man, this one fires me up for sure, just because of the whole entire ecosystem of crypto. And then, of course, the XRP story of the day. XRP at $20, monster bull run envisioned for XRP following upshot of SEC legal brawl. We're going to dive into all of this in today's video. Very exciting. Very, very stoked on this one right here. We're actually going to start off right here, right now. Then we will jump over to the charts. When I saw this article earlier today, I was like, yes, a lot of you guys out there are excited about XRP, the explosion of XRP, what's going on with it. And also, obviously $20. Some of you guys out there think $20 is low, but just imagine if we got to $20, how exciting that would be, right? So I know a lot of you guys are thinking $100,000 per XRP token. And you know what? If some of these conspiracy theories that are out there come true, frick yeah, dude. I'm all about $100,000 XRP per token. But in the meantime, if it was just a regular traditional market, if those conspiracies don't come to fruition, if we don't have a complete global market reset, am I still mad at $20 XRP? Hell to the no. So let's talk about this right now. All right, so for those of you that have not been following along, this is really important, little catch up here. The United States District Court Judge Analisa Torres turned down the SEC's motion to withhold the popular Hinman documents. This just was announced a couple of days ago. I did a full video on that whole entire explanation, even showed the court documents, which was really cool. The Hinman documents contain a speech from the former SEC's finance divisional director saying that Ethereum is not a security. And so for those of you guys that know, that would be Hinman himself. All right. So Hinman, who was the director of the SEC, while he was director, gave a speech saying that the Ethereum is not a security. And now he's trying to say the opposite is true because of XRP. He wants to say XRP is a security, but he's already said that cryptos are not a security. The price of XRP spiked over 20% since the ruling, and the bulls are eyeing the 50-cent XRP level again. We are getting super close. Obviously, we did hit that 55-cent. We're going to jump into these charts here. This is really, really important here, by the way. This right here, it broke this one and this one. All right, so we did not get to the body. Here, let me just go ahead and do a quick little thing. We did not get to the body, or we did not get to the wick of that previous month's candle, but that's okay. We still have a lot of potential. Now, what I have been covering with you guys that I still think is going to be important, and we're going to do a lot more research here on this in the charts here in just a minute, but I just want to show you there is that fair value gap. And I talked about this with Shiba Inu when it happened too. When a fair value gap, it's smarter and more exciting if this goes and closes right now. Okay, so we would rather XRP come down, close this gap here at 39 cents, touch that, and then run, right? So the pump, a little retracement, then run, rather than it getting up in here to 80 cents, 90 cents, $1, and then having this full retracement to close that out. Because the fair value gaps, they do get closed out no matter what. So I just wanted to cover that with you. The Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC's case with Ripple Labs has taken several twists in the last 2 months, with many going Ripple's way. And if you have not been following our channel, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We cover XRP. We cover all these tokens all the time consistently. And we've been covering XRP a lot lately because of what is going on. Okay, Ripple Labs recorded another victory over the SEC on Thursday. The United States District Court Judge Analisa Torres ruled against the SEC publishing documents written by its former director. The SEC has been fighting against admitting those documents into evidence, and the Ripple claiming that the documents are fundamental in its case. And it is, because right now, the people that are trying to close down the XRP token and say that it is a security, the head of that division of that department has already said that they are not. So these documents are extremely fundamental in the case. And the documents, now popular, known as the Hinman documents, related to a speech delivered by William Hinman, a former director in the finance division of the commission at Yahoo's Finance Market Summit in 2018. This is that long ago. Remember, the case wasn't even brought forward until 2020. So he had already said 2 years prior to them even submitting a case against XRP or against Ripple's XRP, 2 years prior to that, he had already said Ethereum is not a security. So now he's trying to flippity flop, but we're not gonna let that slip. So at the summit, Hinman stated that the commission does not consider Ethereum as a security, which has been the defense of Ripple Labs, accusing the commission of targeting the company. Judge Torres rejects the SEC's motion following a district decision by the U.S. District Judge Sarah Netburn that the documents are not protected by attorney-client privilege and by deliberative process privilege back in July. So if you didn't know that, so the SEC is fighting against this document, this speech. And the previous judge from the U.S. District, Judge Netburn, also said that these documents are not protected. Now, Judge Torres also says that they're not protected. So the decision of the court to publish the documents swings in the case in Ripple's favor in its claim that XRP is not a security. The commission filed a case against Ripple Labs and two directors for raising $1.3 billion from offering securities to the public in December, meaning that the SEC said when they started selling some of these tokens, XRP tokens, that they were selling them as a promised note against Ripple, the company, as if they were stocks, when that was never promised at all. So with applications for summary judgment already filed, the end is in sight for a case that has held the entire digital asset industry spellbound for nearly 2 years. XRP goes on a run. So XRP shows positive signs of a bull run amid reports of the long-running legal battle with the SEC entering the final act. The price of the sixth largest virtual currency was marked up by 20% all the way up to 50 cents after the ruling. And then the following day it went to 55 cents. And with the second ruling in favor in September, bulls are looking to make a $1 mark, a new benchmark for XRP, and ultimately eclipse the $20 milestone. So we want to continue climbing, get that psychological barrier of $1 back on the bull's side, and then make our battle for $20. To cap the whole day in delight, a bogus picture of Bart Simpson, a character of The Simpsons, predicting the price of XRP at the end of the year at $539 broke the internet, with many using the joke to justify the bull run. The Simpsons have garnered a reputation for predicting notable events in episodes before they occur in reality. So, and I don't know if you guys have heard this conspiracy theory as well, but Matt Groening, the creator of The Simpsons, has basically predicted, it's actually kind of countless now. Someone might have actually counted them, but over 100 different things that have come true multiple years later, right? I'm talking 5, 6, 10 years after The Simpsons episode aired, they came true. And so that's why they're connecting you should look it up. The Simpsons conspiracy theory is really, really cool, actually. So let's go ahead and jump over here. And there is something I wanted to pull up that I haven't actually done a lot of research on, but it is XRP dominance, also known as XRP versus BTC. Okay, so here we are on the monthly chart. We're going to turn some of this off real quick. It's a little noisy. As you can see here on the monthly chart, we are currently running into a situation, right? It's kind of rejecting of XRP versus Bitcoin. So XRP was making a run while Bitcoin was just trading sideways. So it's XRP is gaining back some provenance against Bitcoin on all frameworks. But look at this on the weekly, which is really exciting. So as we take a look here on the weekly chart, XRP has now broken above the 50-week moving average of the dominance factor of XRP versus Bitcoin. And in fact, it was 2 weeks ago that it made its first penetration through that line. Now we've had a full entire week above the 50 moving average. And here we have this week's current week that just started. Of course, there's 1 day, 2 hours left in that because this weekly candle comes to a close tomorrow. So interesting, right? We had the monthly close yesterday, the weekly close tomorrow. So big events happening over these couple of weeks. Now, one thing that we will say here, the RSI is currently in the overbought territory. It's up at 73. There is also a fair value gap that runs right in here that does need to be filled and probably will be filled. There is even one all the way down here, and I'm not really sure where XRP would have to fall to in order to fill that gap. So the likelihood of price coming back here, tapping off this 50-week moving average is a real potential scenario when you're taking a look at price. So I just wanted to show you this here as well. But let's go look now at XRP specifically. So here we are taking a look at XRP. We're going to take a look at the monthly chart. Like I said, last month just closed. There is that fair value that it may come and close out all the way back down to 39 cents. It's like refueling the car and then taking off to the upside. That is a possibility. Now we jump over here to the weekly charts, and we're going to see what we get from our charting, right? So if we were to take a couple of things, let's go ahead and close the fair value gap. We don't need that anymore. If we were to take our trend line and we go from, we'll use the horizontal ray, or not the horizontal, just the ray tool, and we could use this one here to here. Okay, so that's one trend line. And by the way, look how exciting that is, though. I mean, getting price up to that dollar level, basically. So you have that. Now we also have, let's go ahead and grab another one. We could do something from here to here. We've already broke that, so we're not going to be able to use that one. We go to here. We just broke that one. So look at how that one was actually here. In fact, let's go all the way to here. So that we just broke. Okay, so you can adjust these obviously all different ways that you would like. So we're going to close that one out. So we use this tip to this tip. We had tried that, and that gave us this crazy shot out here. Okay, so we could use that one. We could also use this one, which had already broke that one. In fact, we could use all of these really. So now we would take this one here, and we can go to this one here. So that's where we would run into a next potential trend, right? So we could use this tip here to this tip here. We just broke that trend, so we're not going to use that one. We could use this tip here to this tip here, already broke for sure, so we're not going to be able to use that one, which is totally fine. So let's go ahead and clear all those. And what we know, we've just broke this trend line here. So in fact, let's use here to here. We're going to use the tops of the greens, okay? So we're going to use tops of the greens here, here to here. So this is really exciting. Look at this target out here. And we do need to break above this 50-week moving average. Right now, it is using that as a resistance. This is on the weekly charts. Now, what we're also going to do is jump over here to Heikin-Ashi candles. And we'll go ahead and turn the moving average off for a moment. So we have this right here is our upside target on the weekly candles. We'll make that white. And that gets us up into that 78-cent mark. And what's interesting, if we use the trend like we were talking about over here, Japanese candlesticks from this green candle to this green candle as the tip, that gets us in a scenario where this could play out over time, and that those meet in that section over here, where that would collide with this. If we put it out in time, we're looking at November, right? So the end of November where that could collide, or the potential of another really large candle, kind of like this one that we've had in the past, could happen now and run all the way up to that level. That's also a possibility. All right, so we've taken those possibilities. Now let's look at some other possibilities. Let's see here, and then we go to this green candle. All right, so we attach that green candle to here. As you can see, we've already broke this trend. Okay, so we've already broke that trend to the upside, which is great. Now we go to this candle here. We've already broke that trend. We go to this candle here. You can see how we take our starting point and we go and we start filling out the tops of other green candles to see where is our trend now, right? We've already broke a trend. So for example, this trend is where we have hit exactly. Okay, so the green candle wicked right into that spot at the end of last week, rejected off there. Doesn't mean it's coming all the way back down, but that's just where it rejected for us. Now we'll do the opposite for the way down. So we'll take a ray from the past. We'll take the bottom of this red candle, go to this red candle. As you can see, that has acted as a support for us on the weekly time frame, right? So it hit here, and hit here. So we'll leave those in as weekly support candles for our trend, because we're looking, all we want to see is the potential of this thing to break out to the upside again. So now we break down to a smaller time frame. We're going to go to the daily charts now. Let's turn this to off for a moment. What we're also noticing here on the daily charts is XRP now for, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, rejected, 4, 5. It hasn't really broke and confirmed above this 1100 moving average on the daily. It's fighting really hard. It's trying to get that breakout above there. But now we will use our charts, and we're going to use the daily charts to see if we can find a more updated point of view for our trend. So this would be our high point right now. Something above that point would give us this here. This green candle is above that one. So we'll start our trend there, and we'll go ahead and hit that, because we do know that that did act as a resistance there. Dailies, we go green. All right, now let's even go a little higher. So let's go with our ray tool, go up to this green candle, and we'll bump that one off of that wick as well. And then we'll go one more higher. Take this ray off of this one to there. All right, so now we have that, looking at some tops that could potentially come into play there. Now let's look at the bottoms. We're going to take our ray. We'll go off of this bottom. And you can see right now, this is fighting to not break this trend, right? So we're going to leave that there. So as you can see right now, this candle bounced off this candle, this one rejected. The candle we're currently in, this brand new candle that we're looking at, this daily candle that was brand new yesterday, that comes to an end here, 1 hour and 11 minutes. That is a very, very telling candle. So now we'll drop down to the 4 hours. And now what we can do is adjust our points. So this one here, we're going to get a little more precise. We're going to use the bottom of that one. We'll use the bottom of that one. So this is good news, because look, we still have some room here for a potential drop before make the move to the upside. And you can see from here, it has tapped here, and it has been a valid support. In fact, we might even be able to go back in time a little deeper here to like there. So you can see the wick went below it, but not the body. So that's still working. All right, so that's what we're going to use now for our 4 hour. So we got to change that to red. All right, and then we're currently making a new 4 hour candle. We could actually take our ray from our most last down candle to the one that we're currently sitting on now. All right. So here's the interesting thing. If this does break below this candle, we would likely return back to this level down here, wherever in time that gets to there, returning back to that 44-cent level. Let's break it down even a smaller time frame here. So the 1 hour, you can see it's starting to try and break that trend right now. 1 hour, we're going to turn this to blue instead. Bring it to the bottom of that candle. And we'll come to the bottom Oh, that candle. Nope, that doesn't work. That will work. Okay, so we're wanting this to not break, because in reality, look, we've had basically there's this crazy support and resistance line right here on this 1 hour, right in this area. It's really this whole entire area. So you got support, right? And it was over here, support resistance, break back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, made the break down, up. This is holding as support. If this were to break down, we would be losing this support line, we'd be losing this trend line, and we would also be losing all of this down back to our 4-hour trend line. Conversely, if this decides to get some bullish momentum, we break to the upside, we could head this way. So that's the working your, like, zooming out and then working your way in. And then what's crazy, like now when you look at it on the daily, it's just a big giant mess. But that's what, or on the monthly is a big mess. You zoom in, it gets more and more precise. So you want to start out, work your way in when you're doing your trends. Those are different levels that you're going to be working with. All right, so now that we kind of went through that technique, let's remove everything there, and then let's go back to our daily supply and demand zones. So now that we have some new data that we've been talking about, we're pretty much in a zone that is like a no decision zone. We have this right here, supply and demand. That's our top side, immediate resistance, and then our candle for our immediate support. So that's the last green candle before the down move. That would give us our resistance. This is the last red candle before the up move. That gives us our support level. And then let's look at where this candle's, what this is doing. So as you can see right now, this candle that we're in, and even the previous one, is pretty much trapped in this little spot. It's got this little area to work with because there's a support and there's a resistance, and it keeps on going up and down in there. We look at the 1 hour, we'll take a look here, right? So up here, when it broke there, it used that as a support for a minute, then fell, then used this as a support for a minute. And so it's literally just fighting in between of these two zones. So that means on the daily, we know that that's our trap right now. And then once we give way, whether it's to the downside or to the upside, we know where it could be going. So daily gives us that data. Let's go ahead and drop smaller time frame and see if we can get a better decision that could be made. So let's go ahead and take our drawings off, and then we'll do the same exact thing for our 4-hour charts. So our 4-hour to the downside is here, and that is 44 cents. 44 cents to be a support, 43 cents is there. And then what about above here? Above here gives us, this would be the last green candle before these down moves, right? So that gives us this, and that is what has been acting as a resistance in the past. But let's go even smaller. So let's go, so this one, we haven't got there yet. It keeps on rejecting off. Where we're sitting at is this candle right here is the candle we're doing all of our activity inside of right now. In fact, we've been doing activity in this same area for like 2 days. So this is good news. We know that if we break out of this zone, if we break out to the upside, then we could look for the move to the upside from there. If we break to the downside, then we look for the move to the downside, which comes and fills this imbalance or fair value gap, gets us back to 44 cents, and then our support level kicks in here. And then if something crazy happened, we continue our fall down to the 40-cent level, so on and so forth. But right now we know that. Now to the upside, we do know we have all, like, there's just a lot of resistance. What we really want and need to have happen for a breakout is we need to break above that 55-cent level. That's that level that we ran up to, acted as a resistance, and we've been pulling back since then. We could very likely, we're above the 1100 moving average now on the 4-hour. We could see a pump to the upside, get back to that zone. And what's exciting is if we do break that, we would have to now switch to the dailies again. Our upside support zone is here. or resistance zone is here, 58 cents to 65 cents. Big area, and it's a very strong zone. So if we break this, we could likely be getting into that area. Looking at the RSI on the daily, the market baseline is still continuing to climb. That's very bullish. You know, when we first got this signal, this launch, we got this crazy shark fin, and the shark fin usually indicates there's going to be an extreme drop as far as price goes, but it rallied. It's holding strong. A lot of the people out there, the community, XRP retail traders and so on, they want this thing to lift off to 10,000 immediately. So when this started making its move, they're starting to pile in. They're holding this up. Even if the institutions are trying to push it down a little bit right now, they're going to have to really turn on the selling fire in order for this to drop now, because XRP Army is out in full force. They feel like this reminds them, that I've been talking to a lot of people about, this reminds them of the Shiba Inu pump of September to October of last year. We're about to be in Uptober. It has officially started, and it's really exciting, like what could potentially be happening right now. You can see price ran up real fast, came down, got support off that 21 exponential moving average, which that's a bullish indication right there. 21 crossed over the 50, bullish. Bounced off the 21 exponential, bullish. Right here, it's running into a really extreme resistance. That's the only bearish thing. So we're trapped in this little zone between 50 cents and 42 cents right now. If we break above it, mega bullish move. If we break below it, then there is the likelihood of, you know, getting back into the smaller zones down here, the 40 cents. And when we take a look here quickly on the daily fair value gaps, oh, we need to turn something off here. All right, indicators, fair value gaps. There we go. There's no fair value gap on the daily to the downside, except for this little tiny one right here. So that's bullish too. So we talked about this one having a big fair value. It has now come and filled it. It's moving up. We just need to break this zone right here and we could fly. There is a lot of potentiality of this dropping over time, which would give us a drop in price, but it's not looking, we have to have some sort of catalyst to make that happen. Right now, we're looking bullish. Also, what I keep on covering on the RSI right here, this is really bullish for XRP long term. We have this move to the upside. We've now broken above the market baseline. RSI is climbing above the 50 level, which is the midpoint. We have 1 day, 2 hours left. We'll get a new update on the RSI in about 2 hours. This is going to move forward. It's going to show even more bearish because it's going to have a little bit of a pullback, but not a crashing down. So next week is a big major week for XRP. And let's take a look at this article here. El Salvador president says many countries will follow if their Bitcoin experiments exceeds. In an op-ed piece, the president of El Salvador, which in September of 2021 became the first country to make Bitcoin legal tender, said that despite claims by mainstream media and rating agencies, his nation is not failing because it bet on Bitcoin. And as you can see here, the tweet from Rizzo, exactly 1 year ago today, El Salvador becomes the first country to adopt Bitcoin as legal tender. Now, if you guys have been following along, I do look at markets, crypto, stocks on a worldly view and on a new world order, Illuminati, conspiracy theory type of view. The only thing that bothers me about El Salvador or any of these countries really becoming Bitcoin only currency countries is the fact that, I mean, who owns all the other Bitcoin right now? Does the CIA own, like when the price crashed during COVID, do you think that the CIA bought up billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin so that they could be like the #1 holder? What if they're whale number 3, right? So that's the one thing that bothers me. I know that they've also, the United States government, have seized a lot of Bitcoin. They've seized Bitcoin from the Silk Road founder, right? That guy, I forget his name. Let me know down in the comments. What's the guy who founded Silk Road? But anyway, the United States government seized all of his Bitcoin, and it's like they could use it as a weapon. So that, you know, if you're not familiar, you've read history books, a lot of wars are fought over currency. We have the crazy war in you know, in Ukraine right now with Russia, because Russia is trying to create the BRICS currency with Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, and that's some crazy stuff too, right? So what is going on? It's just wild and crazy. But like if somebody wanted to overthrow, if someone wanted to overthrow El Salvador, all you'd have to do is dump Bitcoin to like $5, which I know you're gonna say, oh, that's never possible. It's not, it's impossible, blah, blah, blah. It's not impossible. Literally everyone could just sell all their Bitcoin and go to zero. They would have to continue holding it, of course. And then, like, isn't that the same thing as like basically their currency has already gone to zero before? So that would suck for them to have that happen again. But as you may know, on June 5th, 2021, Zap Solutions, a Bitcoin payment startup, uses the Lightning Network. Founder and CEO Jack Mallers announced at Miami's Bitcoin conference, El Salvador's government wanted to pass legislation to make Bitcoin legal tender alongside the US dollar. During his talk, an emotional Mallers presented a recorded video message from the president and read out a small passage from the proposed bill. Mallers went on to say that his firm would be opening an invitation center in El Salvador with help of Blockstream. Then on June 25th, 2021, Reuters published a report that said El Salvador's president had announced during a national address on the 24th of June, the Bitcoin law would become effective on September 7th of 2021. On 6 September 2021, President announced that his country had bought the first 200 Bitcoins and they plan to buy a lot more. And they did buy a lot more. So El Salvador bought today 80 BTC at $19,000 each. Bitcoin is the future, and it keeps, that was on June 30th of 2022. So you can see they just keep buying and buying and buying and buying Bitcoin. Although some critics argue that El Salvador's Bitcoin experiment has failed since the small Central American nation has unrealized losses on its Bitcoin investment, there are El Salvadorans who are very happy and proud that their country embarked on this journey. So let me know down below, what do you think about countries embracing Bitcoin as legal tender, or should they only use XRP? Let me know down in the comments section what you think about that. Cardano reaches new scaling milestone that might allow nodes to sync faster. Cardano is about setting a milestone in scaling solution Mithril, as IOG CTO Romain Pellerin tweeted about bootstrapping a Cardano node through the snapshot within minutes. Mithril was listed as one of the ways Cardano intended to scale at the start of the year. Cardano builder IOG announced Mithril during 2021 Cardano Summit. Since then, the team has made steady development progress. And here you go. Romain Pellerin bootstrapped a Cardano node on preview testnet on a new OSX machine through a Mithril snapshot in just a few minutes. Love it. Let's jump over here to Ethereum. And as we can see, the 21 exponential moving average has finally started to catch up with price because we've been trading sideways for some time here. The one thing that bothers me right now with Ethereum is the fact that we very likely could be creating a bear flag. And if you take a look here, we have the trend line here, okay? And then you have the box. So you have your flagpole, and then you have your flag right there. So that does not excite me, because then if that were to break and that were to drop, we would take a look, okay, well, where was price going then? We go from the flagpole top to the bottom, that's looking at $860. Now, here's what is interesting though, guys. Here's what's interesting. What did we talk about yesterday? I hadn't done that yet. I hadn't charted that out, but that looks very realistic. But yeah, so if that's a flagpole and that moves that measured move and it gets us to here, look what that does. That gets us a new lower low. That would be lower than the 880. That's giving us 860. RSI in that time period would not have the ability to crash to create a new lower low. So we would have a new lower high on the RSI. We would have a new lower low on the price. We would have a bullish divergence on the weekly, which I've been preaching about, well, since the freaking bottom of the June. When it started rallying back up, I was like, oh my gosh, this could be it, guys. We could be ending up with a bullish divergence on the weekly. And as I've talked at length, at nausea, you guys are probably tired of hearing it, but look at bullish divergence on Ethereum. Boom. Let's actually measure this out because I forget what the number was. Boom. Let's go from here to here. How about a 3,820% rise? Booyah. That's what I'm freaking talking about, right? So what if we start the next bull run cycle right here? The other interesting thing is, if you guys watched yesterday, and if you're not subscribed, make sure you go ahead and subscribe to the channel. We do on the S&P 500 now have a verified bullish divergence. We have a new lower low on pricing, and we have a new higher low on the RSI. Now, the only thing that scares the crap out of me is there is a weekly supply and demand zone down here at 35.30. And then also, if you take a look here on this daily one on the Heikenashis, okay, there we go. So the daily one here, if this breaks, we could be going all the way to the next daily, which is down here. And the only reason why that bothers me is because now you're talking like depression. People like start freaking out. Oh my God, it's the Great Depression again, because that's 3,300 from where we're at now. That's still a pretty significant 200-point drop, which would be gnarly. Okay. But also on the daily, we are now tapping right here on the 1100 moving average, the 1100 exponential moving average, tapping there. That could be a sign of the bottom. So are we bottoming in the stock market? As we know, when the stock market pumps, cryptos pump. All right. So let's take a look now at Bitcoin also, Bitcoin USD. So interesting thing here, we did get a bullish divergence on the daily for Bitcoin, and then it traded sideways. That's really strange. And RSI continues to climb. We're trading sideways. That to me is pretty bullish in the fact that that's like waiting a ticking time bomb to explode to the upside. And we're talking pump nation type of explosion to the upside. Because all of this is growing and growing and growing. Price is not doing jack squat. Boom. We could see an explosion to the upside that we haven't seen in a very long time. Because if the stock market's bottoming and we start to rise, well, doesn't that mean that crypto is going to start to rise? Could we see, though, for all of you guys that follow any stocks, any day trading trades at all, since price is doing this typically, and we have this line here, right? So this is a very, very important supply or very important support line. What is likely to happen is the spring. If you guys are familiar with Wyckoff, the spring is the last move before the explosion, and that would be a devastating move. That would be like a liquidation event that you have not seen in a long time. It's going to clear out all these people that are going long here, right? So people are buying a shiznit ton of Bitcoin here because they do expect it to ramp to the upside. Well, what do the market makers do? They want to steal everyone's money, so they swoop a quick down move before the real up move. And then all these people that had positioned themselves to make, you know, hundreds of millions of dollars potentially in their eyes, they just lost all their money, and now they lost their move as well. So be very careful. Like for me personally, when I'm doing my HODL bags, and I'm not a financial advisor, it's not financial advice, but when I'm doing my HODL bags, when I'm adding to those, I don't like to add to my HODL bags until I have a confirmation that we are on the bull run move again. And the reason why is because time and time again, I thought I was a bottom over my career of doing this, and it wasn't, right? So now I wait. And do I miss the bottom? Am I going to mix out on a potential, 100, 200% of the move, depending on, how big the move is? Because like if we look at Bitcoin and how big of a move is this to the upside? Let's say you started at zero, you had no crypto, and you all of a sudden got in for your first time ever. And we went from where we're at to previous all-time highs. That's a 258% move. Now, if I miss 100% of that move, do I cry? Yeah, kind of, because that's a lot of money, right? But at the same time, did I lose money? Did I start to go down again? No, I didn't. I would rather catch 158% than lose a junk ton of money on the way down again. So I'm waiting. I'm not even trying to time the bottom anymore. I'm waiting for confirmation that we're not in the bottom anymore and we're starting to move up. So interesting thing here, when you take a look at all of the Heikin-Ashi candles, when a green candle occurs, it starts to move up. Down here, when a green candle occurs, it starts to move up. We do not have a green candle yet on the Heikin-Ashis for the monthly on Bitcoin, on Ethereum, on Shiba Inu, on anything. What about XRP? Where did my XRP army go? We do. Do you see this? We have 2 months now of green candles on XRP. I just saw that. So very exciting here. You can also see that the RSI, the fast moving average, just crossed over the slow moving average. That is also a bullish sign, which you can see that happened here, right here. Dude, XRP Army, I think we might be in for something exciting soon. This is really cool. So thank you guys for watching this with me because we're catching at the same time. Now, hey, check this out.